Hello there and welcome to the Fasting Focus Lifestyle Podcast, episode 13, where we are talking meditation. And I made sure before we got started to take a nice deep breath. I also made sure I have my favorite meditation tool is my meditation beads. So this week's episode, we're going to be talking everything about meditation, as well as if you stick around at the end, I will guide you through a nice, relaxing, meditative process that you can come back to anytime you need to, or you can take it and make it your own. So stick around, it's going to be a great, nice, relaxing episode. Welcome to the Fasting Focus Lifestyle Podcast, where each week I will be discussing all things fasting and how it can become the most valuable tool in your personal toolkit so that you can live a long, healthy, and meaningful life. I'm your host, Vicki Sharon, and thank you for joining me. Welcome. So, all right, this week's episode, like I mentioned, all about meditation. So before we even get started, I know I'm usually wound up for sound. This week's episode, we're going to be doing some nice, relaxing, deep breaths. Hopefully you can hear the nice, relaxing, meditative, calming, soothing music that I've going in the background. Hopefully it's able to keep you nice and relaxed. I want you guys to take a nice, good, deep belly breath. And meditation for me is something that fasting just complements right alongside. They're best friends as far as I'm concerned. And of course I discovered fasting, and I knew about meditation before doing fasting, but I wasn't really to where I was as fluent and comfortable with it in a regular, many times a day kind of practice as I am right now. And that's another thing I really want to reinforce to everybody, that meditation is just that. It's a practice, and it's not something where you have to feel like you need to be so good at it right from the get-go in order to be successful in it. Because meditation, I feel, is like a form of working out, as I mentioned in my previous episode about working out. Allowing the body and mind to just take a beat and just relax in general, while especially in this dedicated weight loss efforts with integrating fasting into your life. It's going to be so calming and just really relaxing. It's going to help you to kind of refocus your headspace entirely. And funny I say headspace because I want to reference, before we get into that meditation session shortly here, I found a really great article on headspace.com, as well as their app that they've got, the Headspace app. If anybody is familiar with that, highly recommend the Headspace app. And also, on a side note, if you have Netflix, which most of us do these days as well, if you go to Netflix and search Headspace, you're going to find some great sessions that they've got on there too, I think for sleep and for an introduction to meditation. So I highly recommend those to utilize as well at any point with a fasting journey, or maybe you don't need to utilize fasting, or maybe you just feel like you need to chill out in general. Man, Headspace is wonderful. In regards to using meditation for weight loss efforts, specifically in a fasting lifestyle, as we're doing, managing your health, your weight, your mindset, all that can be just very beautifully managed with allowing the body and mind to reach any kind of focused, concentrated, meditative practice, honestly, as often as you can. And the beauty with meditation, I personally feel, is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. You can do it while you're awake, driving around, walking around. Meditation is that realignment, that focusing of attention from feeling like you're super scattered everywhere and you've got a million things going on and your brain is flitting, all over the place from one thing to the other, and just refocusing, bringing it back in. As I've mentioned before, that hula hoop of control, if our mind and attention is outside of that hula hoop and we just feel a total spaz, the breath, the focus and awareness is key to bring it back all the way in to that breath so that you feel more in control, more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, your emotions. Maybe you find you're mentally, emotionally, behaviorally spiraling out of control. That would be a perfect time to pump the brakes, take a beat, even step away from wherever you are if you can. If you're feeling over emotional about something, pull yourself off to the side somewhere, find some place quiet, and you can have a great meditation session. Just a couple minutes, 2, 5, 10 minutes if you can. That's going to be so beneficial for you. You're going to notice so many different components of your life can benefit from utilizing a consistent practice of meditation, and to feel like it doesn't have to be a perfect process. Many times when we're in these dedicated meditative practices, we feel, okay, I'm going to reel it in and I'm focusing on the breath, but then the mind goes, oh, what else do I have to do today? Oh, I have this coming up, and oh, I should reach back out to this one. And when you feel your mind just go whoop outside of that hula hoop of control, nice deep breath, and just imagine like you're fishing in your thoughts and you just reel it back in, and just be like, that can wait however long you need to refocus that awareness, to calm the crazy emotional monster that may be overtaking you right now. When things feel way out of our control, we're not at our best. We have so many things that can go wrong in our body. We've got, obviously the stress comes to surface. We can have inflammation, a spike of our stress hormones. Stressful situations cause us to mindlessly go to our fridge, go to our pantry. Stressful situations can make us say, speak, and behave towards others in ways that we typically wouldn't respond or behave in a public kind of manner or situation. We're not at our best when we're stressed. That sounds like a rhyme. We're definitely not at our best when we're stressed. And like I said, if you can take even just a brief moment, I like to say like a 4-count breath, at least to start as you're getting comfortable with the process. So deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, out. I feel when you're inhaling on that 4-count breath, all the attention and focus should be on the sensation. Is it cool? Is it warm? The breath that's going into your nose. I imagine that breath coming into my nose. As it circulates, goes down to my lungs. I feel it providing light, positivity, love, and strength, stability into my lungs. If you can hold it there for a couple moments before you exhale, that's great too. That method is actually called box breathing, and Headspace actually does a really great explanation on box breathing if you're interested as well. So you would breathe in, like I mentioned, for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, before. And the more you're able to extend that time, even by 1 second, you're going to feel incredible benefits. And just to remind you too, when you're doing these nice, deep, meditative breaths, make sure that you're not doing it from, the lungs. Well, obviously you're doing it from your lungs, but what I'm meaning is you do a nice, deep belly breath. So when you're doing that, you're extending your diaphragm and doing it that way. Because when we're doing these chest, shallow breathing through our chest, that can help to increase the feeling of stress, increase the feeling of bodily tension. When we're accessing those nice, deep, deep guttural belly breaths. That's how you can kind of really feel just overall recalibrated, rejuvenated, and just so much more beneficial when you're able to tap at those really, really deep, deep belly breaths. So before I get too far into those breathing techniques, which I'm going to touch upon here really soon when we get into a session, I'm going to reference a couple things from a great article from headspace.com that I will have in the show notes. So definitely check the description if you want to check out this article on Headspace. So I want to discuss real quickly that Headspace talks about the 5 different ways that meditation can help promote a healthy relationship with eating. Mindfulness obviously is a really big key component of this. As I said, with meditation in general, having that awareness to mind, body, emotions, sensations, the more we can give our attention and focus to what's going on in our hula hoop rather than feeling scatterbrained and feeling like everything is just bouncing, flitting from thing to thing. I'm all over the place. My emotions are just a wreck. I can't focus. I can't concentrate. You're constantly doing those really shallow, anxiety, stress breaths. First thing you should do is, in repairing your meditation with processing towards eating in general, practicing that meditative process, especially while you're eating, when you're breaking your fast, when you're in that meal, it's important to remember that we shouldn't feel guilty. We shouldn't feel shameful when we're in those really heated moments, especially for those of you who were like me and had problems with emotional eating. And like I mentioned before about feeling disconnected from mind and body when you're in that consumption process with the food that you're eating. The more you can reel it back in and pay attention to the actions, the awareness of the process in eating itself, the healthier you're going to be, obviously, overall. You're not going to feel guilt. You're not going to feel shame. It's going to be much easier to maintain your weight once you get to a healthy weight. It's going to help you pay attention to what choices you are making in the food choices that you consume for each meal, whether it's your breaking of the fast, whether it's your 1 meal a day or your 16-8, maybe you're having your first lunch or going into your dinner or closing your window, whatever. As I mentioned also, meditation with these dedicated weight loss and fasting efforts does bring levels of stress down, obviously. But with fasting, with practicing meditation, you're going to notice total body release of stress with inflammation. You're going to notice an overall kind of calming sensation the more you practice it. And you're not going to feel these benefits and sensations if you don't practice it. So practice is more important than feeling like you need to do it perfectly. I feel, as I've said before, meditation is a very essential exercise, but it's something that we do internally. Of course, it's important to move your body and be physically active, but taking care of everything internally as well, meditation with fasting is going to be so beneficial for you. It's also going to help you maintain control, and awareness is the key word we're talking about here. Awareness, big time, with when those cravings, pangs, urges, stressors come up where maybe previous to utilizing meditation and fasting, where maybe you felt out of control before. Reeling it back in with a good meditative breath, you're going to feel much more aware, much more in control. Those intense food cravings are usually a bodily hormonal signal, an urge, for some deeper underlying need that's not being met. So, with the mindfulness and awareness that meditation brings alongside those fasting efforts, it's going to be so much easier to manage and minimize those pangs, urges, cravings, reactions to stressors that maybe before you would retreat to your pantry or fridge for a pacifier kind of drug hit of whatever stuff you've got in there that would pacify you before, but now you don't need to, take a drink of water and take a deep breath and remove yourself from the stressor and trigger if you can. Do something to change the environment that it's in if you can. But always know that you can come back to the breath every single time. With eating, when you're in these dedicated, attentive, mindful eating times, it is extremely important, if you don't already, when you are breaking your fast, when you are in your meal of the day, whether it's one meal, 2 meals, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're eating. As I said before, with awareness, it is extremely important to make sure that we're not distracted when we're eating, because if we're paying attention elsewhere besides what's going inside, we're more likely to eat more, we're more likely to eat quicker, and we don't really get the full sensory experience that this meditative, mindful practice with eating can provide, especially with our dedicated weight loss efforts. If we're mindfully trying to minimize our overall body size, paying attention to what we eat is obviously important, but being present as you can is so important. So however you need to arrange your space and place, secluding yourself off or making it so that all screens are off and the whole family or you and your significant other partner are focused and seated at the table. If it helps, turn some music on so that you can really be in that moment with the meal, because you're going to enjoy it much more than if you were seated in front of the TV or in front of your, phone, scrolling, checking whatever. Put those away for however long you need to. Paying attention and giving dedicated focus and awareness to the nutrients and the food that is going into your body to provide you with the fuel, the energy that your body loves, wants, the effort that you put into making it in the first place. It's that completing the process, completing the cycle. It's also really important as you're eating to really pay attention to how the food that you're eating makes you feel. And I've touched upon this a couple times before, but this is especially important now. When you're eating and you're in the first kind of process with integrating fasting, I've said before that it's more important to practice and get consistent with your fasting efforts than it is to be overly restrictive or limiting on your food choices. You're going to notice as you get further along in your journey, and I've heard this many times from people that I've consulted with, that the further along they are in their fasting journey, the easier it is to notice how the food they're eating makes them feel. And by doing that, they're able to consciously change and manage the foods that they're eating to healthier, more beneficial food choices for them. So they find that they don't crave or feel emotionally pulled to have foods that maybe they were addicted to before. The further along you get, the more you're able to flex that fasting muscle, the more you're able to have these dedicated times of mindful eating with, either if you're by yourself or with family, seated at the table, having that deliberate, attentive focus to how does it feel in your mouth? Is it making you feel just like, woo? Does it provide you the nutrients? Does it hold in your stomach? Does it feel great? You're going to notice the way the food feels. And I know it sounds really like, woo, way out there, but trust me, you're going to notice. And you're going to notice that you start to crave healthier foods that you love. And it's going to be so much easier to make that a mindful practice and habit going forward into the rest of your life. So it's really important to not criticize, not judge yourself, especially when you're first starting out, to feel like all the choices have to be perfect. You have to make sure you do meditation perfectly. Make sure you are strict with your hours in fasting. Whew. Pump the brakes. Focus on the fasting right from the get-go. And then I would say the next complementary thing, focusing on meditation as much as you can, especially while you're in that fasting window. And then you're going to notice, because of the integration of the fasting, because of the integration of the meditation, that better habits with your eating choices is just going to come right up on in there. And you're going to be so pleased and happy with yourself that you won't even give the slightest thought to feeling bad or guilty about anything with your choices in your food. So, as I've said many, many times, and I advocate for this on a daily basis, the moment you open your eyes, the moment you start your day, do a check-in with yourself. Do some good breaths. If you are the type of person to wake up and to do a prayer in the morning, that's a great thing to do too. Even if it's just for a moment or two. While you're brushing your teeth, you can do that. While you're going to the bathroom, while you're in the shower, you can have a good little meditation session. It can be really, truly utilized anywhere, however you want. If you need music, put some music on. Check in with yourself and really take inventory to how your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are in that moment. It's going to help you really have a great headspace for how the rest of your day can go. And this can make or break you, as far as I'm concerned. So with all of that good information that I was just talking about, I feel like this lifestyle can be entirely what you make of it. But again, the key with all this, consistency and awareness to how your thoughts, feelings, emotions, your overall well-being is so important. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to guide you guys through a mindful body scan kind of meditative practice. So what I would encourage you to do, if you're not already, get somewhere, have a seat somewhere where you feel comfortable. If you are somewhere where you are able to shut your eyes, I would highly encourage that too. And by starting, I would encourage you to take deep breaths in through your nose and out through the mouth. And do this for a few moments. Slowing down the breath as much as you can, extending the belly out as far as you can, filling it up with air with every deep inhalation, and pushing and emptying as far out as you can, fully emptying. If you feel tightness and tension in your face, go ahead and relax the muscles in your face. Unclench your jaw if your jaw is clenched. If your hands, arms, or legs are clenched, take a good deep breath and breathe into those areas. As we do the body scan, continue to practice deep breaths in through the nose and out the mouth, as slow and controlled as you can. For the body scan, we're going to start at the feet. So while you are doing these nice deep breaths, put your attention and focus into the sensations that you have on your feet. Are they sore? Have you been walking all day? Are you just sitting down? Are you on your feet right now? Pay attention to all the little sensations that you feel. Every tingle, every jolt, every wiggle. With every breath, breathe into what you feel and the sensations that you feel in your feet. One more breath. Move up to the legs. We're going to do a couple deep breaths here. Notice the way that your legs feel. Are they sore? Have you worked out or walked around a lot today? Or maybe they're just sore in general. If you have an injury to any part of your leg, every deep breath that you take, breathe relaxing energy into every feeling, sensation into your legs. Couple more deep breaths. Really, really extend the stomach and fill up with that good meditative breath. Imagine the breath going down to your legs and revitalizing, giving life and energy back into your legs. Maybe they're really tired. Maybe you've walked a lot. Maybe you've worked or stood a lot. Moving up further, going into your pelvic area and your rear area together. Give a few deep breaths. If you have any pelvic pain, soreness, any muscle pain or tension into your rear area, take a good few deep breaths. Breathing into the sensations that you feel in this area. The cool sensation through your nose, filling up your belly. With your eyes closed, imagining all rejuvenating energy into your pelvis. Now going into the lower back and full back area. If you're holding tension, tightness, shoulders area, from your shoulders down to your lower back, if you're holding any tightness, tension, bring some awareness with every inhalation to release those tight feelings. The same with any tightness or tension that you may feel on the front of your stomach, your chest, or pectoral muscles. Take a good few deep breaths here. And again, if you have any tightness, tension, sensations of clenching in your shoulders at all, breathe into them. After your shoulders, start to move down with your awareness, down your arms, all the way down to your fingertips. If you have any tightness, tension, or if you felt previously your hands were clenched before, open and relax. Imagine your arms are so heavy. Let them fall at your side. Let them just be so heavy with relaxation. Let them feel just dropping at your side. Give yourself a good few deep breaths and really feel that relaxation sensation all the way down to your fingertips. With every breath in, starting at your shoulders and just sending waves of relaxation from your shoulders to your fingertips. Another deep breath in. And now focus on the way that your neck feels. If your neck feels tight, if you're able to lean back up against something, if you're sitting in a chair, deliberately become aware of the tightness or any tension that you're holding in your neck and allow it to fully relax and let go, breathing in through your nose, out the mouth, bringing awareness and attention to tightness, tension that you feel. Again, if you feel any other additional part of your body tense up while you're doing focused attention to your neck, you can bring it right back down. And if at any point your attention goes elsewhere, bring it back to the breath. Bring your attention to the top of your head, to the top of your scalp and skull. And imagine with every breath that it feels like warm water is just pouring like you're standing in the shower, dripping down, and the relaxing feeling that it brings to your entire body. Just stay here and imagine you're in a shower and you feel that warm water dripping, pouring from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. One more good, deep breath. And when you're ready to, go ahead and open your eyes and bring your awareness back to the room. How was that for you guys? Was that beneficial? I feel even more so relaxed. That felt really good. So before I go ahead and wrap up this episode, I want to thank everybody again so much for just being a part of this community, being a listener to this podcast, participating with me live on Facebook if you're there as well. And if you need support, additional mentoring, tips, advice, guidance on your weight loss efforts with integrating fasting, meditation, other methods and practices with this fasting focused lifestyle, please don't hesitate to reach out. I love being the resource for folks because this life can be the most beautiful and epic ride that you could have ever imagined. I'm extremely relaxed now, so I'm a little bit jumbled up mentally, but I want to give you all a big virtual audio hug right now and hope you are as relaxed and centered as I am right now. Thank you so much. And as I always say, that I truly mean, I believe in you, even if you don't. If you need help or support, please check out thefastingfocuslifestyle.com, and I'd be honored to assist you on your journey. So thank you everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. The Fasting Focus Lifestyle Podcast. Copyright 2022. The information given within this podcast is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult your doctor before starting any weight loss method. Thank you.